Welcome to Backstage Story, your one-stop source of all things music with the latest and greatest on your favorite artists and your favorite genres. I'm Jana Jefferson, and my friends and I are here to fill you in on all the music news you may have missed. Let's get started. Steve are back this week to give you the news on what's big in this week's country sound.
Trouble in Paradise for Jelena, Britney Spears celebrates a milestone, and Swift's new album. I'm Steve Boreski, and it's another time for Pop Country News. The honeymoon is over for Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez as their recently reunited pair have once again broken up. According to Hollywood Life, Selena was furious at Justin Bieber for having dinner with Kendall Jenner in Paris, the city of romance. This happened just after the public flight at Princess Juliana Airport, where Selena threw her purse on the floor. She left Justin in Paris and flew back home to delete him off her Instagram. But don't expect Justin to give up completely on the relationship. He took to social media to remind her of the happy times they had, posting a video of him on an ATV. Only time will tell if this is just a rough patch or they're done for good. It's time to celebrate for Britney Spears as her iconic first hit, Baby One More Time, turned 16 years old this week. Spears took to Instagram thanking her fans for the love and support over the years with the single art, according to ABC.com's. She wrote, "Happy Sweet 16 to Baby One More Time. Where'd the time go? Thanks to my fans for supporting me since my single end," quote. Since that single, Britney Spears had success through her other songs, including Womanizer and Till the World Ends. You can catch her at Planet Hollywood at Las Vegas as a part of her 2-year residency. Now in country news, former country princess Taylor Swift released her first completely pop album, 1989, on Tuesday. However, fans were confused as to why it wasn't available on streaming services such as Spotify and Pandora. Friday singer Rebecca Black even tweeted, "Where's 1989 on Spotify? #confused." Swift's representative explained that Taylor didn't want the album on streaming services just yet, as she would rather focus on physical record sales. Following a similar approach to her Red album, fans should expect to see 1989 on Spotify and Pandora in the coming weeks, even months. Well, that's all for Pop Country News this week. We'll see you next time.
Let's take the alternative route with our very own Jake Troy to hear what's new.
I'm Jake Troy, and get ready for this week's edition of Alternative Route. First up, we have Jukebox the Ghost. This 3-member piano-based sound has the ability to get stuck in my head for days. Lead singer Ben Thornwell's vocals are easily best described as magnificent, and he never fails to impress. The band just released their 4th album, self-entitled as Jukebox the Ghost, and you can find that on their website as well as Spotify. The very same day that Jukebox released their newest album, the great band by the name of Wolfgang released theirs also. Wolfgang is a group from the UK and just toured the east coast of the US. Similar to Jukebox, they also incorporate a lot of piano, and their sound is very reminiscent of the 70s rock. The name of this album is Alvaron and can be purchased over iTunes and the band's website. The last album I'll mention on this episode is Everything Will Be Alright in the End, which is the 9th studio album by the American alternative rock band Weezer, released on October 7th, 2014. This album marks their 3rd to be produced by Rick Ocasek, and the first released by Republic Records. Their single Back to the Shack has already made a big impact on the radio and can be heard on most stations that feature the genre. And this album can easily be found in stores as well as iTunes, so be sure to look out for these 3 albums. And that's all I have to say for this week of Alternative Route. Be sure to watch last week's episode as well as the next segment for your dose of alternative updates. Now here's Jana and Justin with Hip Hop News.
An 808 documentary is on the way, and hip-hop makes its way to Cambridge.
We have the latest in the Wiz Khalifa-Amber Rose divorce, and a famous fight is the basis for a new television episode.
I'm Justin.
I'm Jana, and this is Hip Hop News.
Thanks to Alexander Dunn and Atlantic Record Films, there will be an 808 documentary based on the TM-88 drum machine kit back in the 80s. The signature drum kit sound will be heard on old school jams like African Bambaata's Planet Rock and new school hits like Kanye West's Love Lockdown. The documentary will include artists like Pharrell and Phil Collins who made the drum kit so special in music today. 808 will hit a screen near you sometime in 2015.
After the shocking split of Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose, rumors have been swirling around the internet about the main reason behind their 1-year marriage. After Amber Rose took to Twitter to deny that she was the cheater, Gossip reports that Wiz snuck around with model Taylor Hall and model twin sisters. Amber Rose will be fighting for full custody of their son, 1-year-old Sebastian.
Cambridge University neuroscientists are using hip-hop to treat mental illness. Doctors Becky Inkster and Akeem Sewell are going to use some of hip-hop's greats like Tupac and Kendrick Lamar to study how they cope with living in the bad urban areas of America through their music. Through the music, we'll be able to find out how people develop and deal with their mental illnesses. Who would have thought hip-hop would take it this far? Expect to hear from the study at Cambridge's Festival of Ideas October 20th.
The infamous altercation between Jay-Z and Solange Knowles in an elevator at a Met Gala after-party is the inspiration behind a new episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. The episode, called American Disgrace, also interweaves elements of the infamous Ray Rice assault on his then-girlfriend and the Donald Sterling racist comment case into the storyline.
That's all for hip-hop news. Tune in next week for the latest in beefs and beats.
Katie and Tiffany are back with some new sounds and artists with this week's edition of Sneaking Into Your Stereo.
Two members depart Fueled by Ramen Band. Radio 1 DJ rescores a famous movie soundtrack. Record Store Day does Black Friday, and a special feature live from a Foxygen show. I'm Tiffany, and this is Sneaking Into Your Stereo.
I wrote LIGPM on my hand with your ink pen. You asked me what it is. I flattened out with...
Alex Suarez and Ryland Blackington have departed from dance pop band Cobra Starship. The band has been signed to Fueled by Ramen since 2006 and are currently preparing to release their 5th studio album. The band and both Suarez and Blackington have released statements, and the band hinted that their replacement bassist is from a band that has previously toured with the band before. Radio 1's Zane Lowe has controversially rescored the soundtrack for the 2011 movie Drive, which starred Ryan Gosling. Despite backlash from fans claiming that the soundtrack does not need to be rescored, the new soundtrack will feature brand new songs from the 1975, Churches, Bastille, and the Neighborhood, which were made specifically for this event. Record Store Day has released its official list for its Black Friday edition. The list features demos from Bleachers, 2 new tracks from St. Vincent, and a 10-inch from Hosier. You can check out the official list here. And now for something special for you this week, my co-host Katie Rust has an inside scoop on the Foxygen and Star Power Tour.
The LA songwriting duo of Sam France and Jonathan Rado have succeeded again in taking us on a groovy and far-out journey. Their October 14th release of a double album titled And Star Power was a combination of new Foxygen material and Sam's solo project Star Power. Critics like NPR and Esquire are raving about the spacey psychedelic spectacular, and I couldn't agree more. Already a fan of the uncontained genius of a Foxygen freakout, I did not find a single song on the 82-minute journey that did not make me want to jump up and spin around. Their tour was no different for me, except this time I could dance around without being seen as a mental case. The new 9-piece band delivered a performance that was no different than the recording of the album. It was a perfectly glamorous trip that I never wanted to end. Opening up with my favorite single off the album, How Can You Really, France blew me away with all of the energy and presence he brought to the stage. I felt like I was watching a hyper-psychedelic reincarnation of Jim Morrison. Rado and Sam made sure to please all Foxygen fans with classics like Shuggy and We Are the 21st Century Ambassadors of Peace and Magic. That's certainly what it felt like. I felt electrified and alive. I could barely breathe when they left the stage, both from exhaustion and anticipation to see if they would do No Destruction for the encore. Yup, they did it. And Teenage Alien Blues. Foxygen is one of the best live bands I've ever seen, and their new album is my favorite of the year by far. And Star Power Tour gets a more than perfect score in my book.
That's all for this week. Tune in next time to see what new artists are sneaking into your stereo.
Ah, the 90s, a time where music was feel-good, appropriate, and ridiculously catchy. For album reviews this week, Sammy and James will be discussing In Sync. Talk about a throwback.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Sammy.
And I'm James.
And this is Album Reviews. This week we're going to do a throwback to In Sync. So, let's do No Strings Attached.
No Strings Attached, what an iconic
album for every 90s kid out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so obviously, two of the big songs on that album, Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me.
Right.
I mean, those were the two that people
Everybody
still think of when they think of NSYNC. There was that other one, This I Promise You.
And Space Cowboy,
and Space
if anyone
Cowboy,
remembers that one.
And very, very good songs. I mean, that
the whole
was,
album was great.
And I feel like that was sort of their album where, like, you know, they were going through that rebellious, like, I'm a bad boy, like, kind of
like,
thing
try to
that every boy band goes through. Like, I mean, even
Backstreet
boy bands.
Boys.
Yeah, well, even boy bands now. I mean, like, boy
One
bands today are
Direction,
still doing it.
Classic
So
of the Summer, everyone's
yep,
like, yeah.
everyone's just recycling things that started with, you know, NSYNC.
Our
and
freaking
them.
awesome childhood.
So, going off of that, I mean, like I said, NSYNC was such an incredible band, and I mean, Justin Timberlake got his start there.
Exactly.
Obviously,
With his ramen noodle hair.
with his ramen noodle hair. So, I mean, what else is there even to say about that album? Like, I don't
It was just like, it was like elementary school. That was like our entire childhood kind of wrapped up in that album.
and it was.
Everyone still remembers it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that people are still like watching the music videos for Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me. I mean, there's a whole meme about It's Gonna
Yeah,
Be
It's Gonna
Me.
Be May.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Which I
obviously
almost-
still iconic.
I almost called the song It's Gonna Be May when we went to say it earlier. And I was like, wait, nope, that's not it. It's not what
So
it's
I mean,
called.
obviously, it's still an iconic album that still holds its merit today. So
Absolutely.
definitely a great first album to pick for our first little throwback edition
Yeah.
of album reviews. And who knows, maybe there are tons of 90s albums that were great.
We
I
might
mean,
do another one.
there was like a whole list that we went through, but I think that No Strings Attached
Attached
was
is
one of the
definitely-
best ones to pick for our first edition.
Throwback edition, yeah.
So, I mean, I think that was a lot of fun. It brought back some childhood memories.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, I think we got enough said there. So,
Yeah.
so do you want to wrap it
Yeah,
up?
let's wrap it up.
Alrighty, so you want to do it?
No, you do it. You usually do it.
Alrighty, so for this week, I'm James Rona.
And I'm Sammy Denon.
And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
That's all for this week's edition of Backstage Story. I'm Jana Jefferson, and I'll see you next time.